Yeah. So today we were going to talk about Feng Shui and natural laws, right?
Yeah. So,
So
uh,
I wanted to start with, in general, natural laws. Okay, laws that we have in society. I like to talk about that because people get confused about natural laws. So the laws in society is like, when you can get your driver's license, if you steal, you get arrested, or, just those
mhm.
are what I would call social laws. It controls the society.
Pretty much laws that are implemented by human beings.
Correct. Man-made laws. Man-made, right? Humans. And
Man-made
then
laws.
in contrast, we have the laws of nature. There's all kinds of laws in nature. There's, weather patterns,
Becomes,
tornadoes, you know,
yeah.
gravity, physics. Those are all, scientific laws of nature. But Chinese natural laws, a little bit different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to share with you our little feng shui chart. Here we go. There. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice chart.
Yeah, we can see now that we have. So last week we talked about qi, and qi was 3 aspects of qi that make up qi is matter, which is form, the physical aspect of a thing, and qi energy was the energy, or the, I guess, in a sense, vibration, I would call it. But and information is, it says truth here, but thought patterns, that's information. So today we're going to talk about the other pillar of feng shui. So we talked about qi, so today we're going to talk about natural laws, right?
Yeah, I think the she will be, well, I don't think it's that. Information will be more like, as you said, thought patterns, what you think,
Yeah, thoughts.
or the information that you're able to interpret. And then the chi energy also is related to how you feel. And the matter aspect is everything that it's tangible with your 5 senses,
Right,
like
the physical.
physical, your body.
Yeah,
So, and then we have natural laws.
yeah. So
I love
Chinese
this
natural laws are different from what we think in Western terms. They have 2, the Yin-Yang theory and the Wu-Xing theory. The Wu-Xing is more commonly known as the 5-element theory. Most people know it as the 5-element theory, yeah? So Wu is 5. What was
Xing
Xing?
is element.
Pardon?
Yeah, and Xing element.
Was it element?
Yeah.
Was it? I can't remember.
It's
Okay.
literally like that, 5 element. It's Wu, 5, and Xing is element.
No. Not
No?
element. I remember now.
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, Xing means passageways. Path,
Oh,
path.
yeah.
It's not element. Yeah.
You see, and this is, okay, people, this is why Feng Shui has a lot of misunderstandings, because also for this translation thing. And I want to take this moment to recommend you to check Jenny's book, where is truth, myths, and misconceptions or misunderstandings.
Misunderstanding. It's an ebook. You can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's very accessible. You can just download it and read it, and over there it will explain many of the misconceptions that you see in the internet. As even me, I was confused because I read a lot in the internet, and they put it literally as element, and it's as you said, it's the 5 passages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literal translation.
Yeah. And it's because I'm not Chinese, I'm Japanese, so it doesn't come to me automatically.
Yeah,
It's not a word that I'm familiar with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine me, I speak Spanish, I learn English, and from English Chinese, I have couple filters.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason why Dr. Zhu prefers to use Wu-Xing is because it's the original meaning. The 5 elements isn't correct. He feels a correct translation. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's start with yin yang. I have an image of yin yang. Okay. So you can talk about yin yang, and I will go find my image.
So, pretty much those two laws that Jenny presented in the image, the yin yang and the wuxing, they are laws that express different aspects of how the universe is manifested. So the yin yang law, the Tai Chi theory, Yin Yang theory, it's mostly it expresses things that are in a binary aspect. So it's pretty much it's a see, without the graphic is a little bit hard for those people who don't see it. Oh, there it is. So you can see that's the yin yang, white and black. It represents so many things. You can see it as, I mean, people see it as a good and evil and this eternal relationship between both. But this symbol pretty much represent everything in the universe. Just learn how to read it, how to understand it. But starting from the fact that it's a circular, it's a rounded figure, it represents almost every aspect in the universe that is manifested in circulars, like the planets, galaxies, and you can go also smaller, and you can go to cells, atoms. So it's the most dynamic shape. We were talking about in the previous conversations about how form defines energy. So this form, circular form, is the most dynamic form, and life is dynamic. And these symbols represent life. So you have the white aspect, which is the yang, and then you have the yin aspect, which is the yin. But as you can see, there's a relation between both of them. And also, I have 4 properties that are the basic properties of this symbol. And one of them is that they have the ability to transform into each other. So the yin and yang transform into each other. That's why if you look at them, they have the seed of the other one. So you have the yang, and you have that little black dot, which is the seed of the yin. So eventually the yang will transform into yin, and the yin will transform into yang.
Yes. So it goes like this.
So, yeah. Also, they entail each other. They're always chasing each other. The yang push the yin push the yang. They cannot live without them. That's why there's also no clear cut. If you see the symbol, if you throw a straight line and you divide it like split it in 2 pieces, there will be always one part within the other one. If you, oh, Jenny's gonna draw a line. Jenny, cut that yin yang.
If I
So the thing is that if they were divided in a straight line, there's no movement, there's no dynamism. and part of life is to have this dynamic aspect. So that's why you see there's a nest, like I have a saying, I think I mentioned it before, that life is not straight, it's curvy. So if you take this and you put it straight, it's dead. There's no movement. And if you look at other examples of nature, rivers are manifested in this curve. The coast of lands are manifested in that shape. Even mountains, if you look at a mountain from the sky, the mountain is not a square mountain like a pyramid. Pyramid, if you look from above, which are man-made, then they are perfect square. But in nature, there's not such a thing as a perfect square. So even mountains are from above, they are like this, they are curvy. So the yin yang, that's why it has that shapes, that interaction of those two elements. There's another property that is that they increase and decrease. So as you can see, they go small and they grow. So the yin, it begins small, but then it grows. And while it grows, the yang is getting smaller. But then the yin, when it reaches its maximum point, it transforms, and then a yang grows. So if you, for example, a human being, you're born, you're small, and then you grow, and then you get strong and agile, and your muscles get stronger, your mentality is stronger. But then as you age, you start to decrease again. You're not, muscle gets smaller, you're not mentally agile, and even some people like shrink a little bit. So it's part of life. Like there's a point where you are in your maximum yang, your peak, but once you reach the peak, then you start to decrease again. So everything in life is manifested this way. There's another property I mentioned, they transform into each other, they increase and decrease. And Jenny, can you help me out? I don't remember which was
they
they
decrease.
unify and oppose.
Yes.
They transform into each other, they increase and decrease, they entail each other, but also they unify and oppose. Yes. What I mean with this is that they can be one, as you can see, but also they are opposite sides. So
we talk about a coin, two sides of a coin. Without one, there is no other. Two sides of a piece of paper. Yeah. Without one, there is no other. For example, hot and cold. If you don't know cold, you don't know what hot is, right? If you don't know up, there's no down. So
you cannot have, in a wave, for example, you cannot have the, how do you call it, trough of the wave, crest, and no wave. So you need, there must be the wave and the crest. You cannot have just a crest and there's no wave. You cannot have front and no back. You have your back and you have your front. So they need to be coexist. So as I was saying, the other property, they transform into each other. They entail into each other. They unify and oppose, and they increase and decrease. So those four properties are the most important properties of the yin-yang. But as I said, this symbol represents life and it represents the whole universe. So there's much more information that we can get out of this symbol. But for the Feng Shui perspective, and we're gonna keep it, we're gonna focus on those four principles because it will help us a lot to do a Feng Shui assessment, to understand stuff. for example, when we were talking this morning about logo design, and then we were talking about but a logo should have balance. So you look for having a balance between the yin aspect of the logo and the yang aspect of the logo. And in the house, there's a yin part in the house and there's a yang part of the house. The yang, look at the symbol. Yang goes above and it's white. White is visible. Above, it's like, hey, look at me. It's more dynamic. Yin is the black one. It's kind of hidden. It's more subtle. Subtle, like it also represents the female energy. So
Well, you
spirituality.
say from an energy perspective, yeah, that's right. The yin is a less manifested energy, and the yang is the more manifested energy.
More physical, it's more visible. And yeah, if for example, let's take it literally to the body shape of the female and the male. So guys or male tend to have a wider upper body. You see the yang is bigger on top, and men are also bigger on top. Little legs and big like muscle up and wide back, and females are bigger on bottom, so they have bigger hips, bigger legs. So
That's to give birth. That's to give birth.
but the shoulders usually females don't have a wide back unless they work out, they swim and stuff like that. But in general, from the general perspective, how nature is expressed, men tend to be bigger and also wider on the back, so it's more visible and it's bigger as the yang. Female tend to be smaller hands, smaller back, but so they are less visible. When I say less visible, I mean like if you have a female and a male next to each other, you will look at the guy first because it's bigger in general. A man can go behind a girl and cover her and protect her. So you see, this is how one of the ways of how yin yang is expressed in nature, because human beings are part of nature. So we can go in many examples.
I have some examples I will try and show you.
I want to do a parenthesis. I don't want people get confused and think because female is the black one, that means like, oh wait, this is good and this is evil, so females are evil. I don't want to get that misconception. The yin yang, it's those aspects are always in relation with what you are comparing them.
Correct.
So I'm comparing male and a female. I'm not saying this is good and this is bad, but physically talking,
yes,
put next to each other, male would be more yang, and female is more yin. If you compare good and bad, then which is very relative, but then if we have good and bad, then bad is the black one, good is the white one. If we compare, it depends. If you compare a car and a chair, then the car is much more dynamic. You're in a chair, but you're moving versus a static chair that you're not moving. So it depends on what you compare. You have two aspects. Remember, I said this is a binary system. So I'm not saying like females are always yin. Everybody is a whole yin yang.
It's just like energy. It's just like energy. You don't say energy is good or bad. Energy is just energy, you know? And so it's just, is there more energy or less energy, but it doesn't mean that one is good or one is bad. Sometimes you want less energy and sometimes you want more energy. So you can't really say, good or bad, right?
And there's an example of transformation that I remember when I was taking my classes with you in Washington, that the Dr. Su gave an example of baseball. Like if you have a baseball, the baseball in your hand is yin. It's not moving. It's just there. But if you throw it up, it's increasing altitude. It's going yang. But what happens when it reaches its maximum yang? It cannot go up any further. It just reached its limit. Then it transforms and it goes yin. So that's we are using in this scenario the yin yang applying to physics, and but using the property of transformation. You transform when you reach your maximum yang, then you transform into maximum yin. That doesn't mean that the ball when it's falling is bad because it's on the black side. You know, it's I'm bringing this up because I've heard comments of other people that try to take it that literally, and remember, this is a tool that will help us to have more understanding when we come to do an assessment.
Yes, it gives us a very more rational approach and perspective, right? Mm-hmm. So for example, I have this image. Can you see my image?
I'm keep looking at the Tai Chi, at the Yin Yang.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, I'm going to give you another image, okay? How's that?
Yeah, I see the water on the mountains in the background.
Yeah. So when you have water next to the mountain, which is yin and which is yang?
Well, in this case, the water will be yang because it's more dynamic. You see, there's movement.
Correct.
While even though for the people who don't know Feng Shui and are new in this, remember I said yang is above, yin is below. So if you see a picture, then you say, oh no, but yang is the mountains because they are on top and they are bigger, and water is yin because it's below. But you gotta also understand the quality of or the properties of that object. As I said, the properties or qualities of a male is the shape of its body also. But in this case, the mountains are very static. They don't move. They almost don't change. But the water is changing every minute. Water is so dynamic, like sometimes has waves, sometimes no, it's always moving. So in this case, based on the properties of each.
Yes. In this case, water, I gotta emphasize that, yeah.
In this specific case, we are comparing these two elements. Water is yang, the white yang is the white one, and the yin will be the mountains.
Correct. So is mountains always yin? Not necessarily. That's what I want to show you. Look at this mountain. Compared to the last mountain, this mountain is what we would call a yang mountain. Oh, can you see that?
Yes, I see the very like sharp peaks and snow. Yeah, those are yang mountains.
Yeah, if we just describe it, you know, if somebody says, hey, what kind of mountains are these? I would say it's a yang mountain because of its sharp edges, very angular.
Yeah, if we compare these mountains, and we're just talking about mountains compared to these other mountains that Jen is showing us, these are more yin mountains, more passive. Right. Same if you compare to mountains in Colorado, for example, which has not much life. It's just more desert, more square mountains versus those big peak and sharp and with stormy winds all the time. It's more dynamic mountain.
Mm-hmm. So when we look at this mountain and this mountain, if we're comparing the two, we can say this is Yang Mountain and this is a Yin Mountain. But mountains and water, if we're comparing these two, then we have a Yin.
Yeah, we have a Yin. Look, I want people, if you're looking at this picture, okay, I want you to understand also this. Remember, you have the yin and the yang. And I was mentioning that life is not straight. Life is dynamic. And life let's put it like it's the line between the both. You have male, you have female, you join them, you have a baby. So like it's where life is created, and it's how life is actually more lively. So look at this. You have the yin, which is the mountains. You have the yang, which is the water. And what's in between the yin and the yang? You see the lights? You see those are houses. It's where people feel more comfortable living on, in between the yin and the yang.
Well spotted. Well, good observation.
Yeah, because the more closer to the water you get, you are living more dynamic life, more yang. You know, always listen to the ocean and the wave, and the winds get stronger. If you go to the mountains, you will be more towards the yang side. But there's a place in this flat land between the water and the mountains where it's more rich or abundance in energy. As Jenny mentioned, there's not such a thing as bad energy or good energy. And we are Feng Shui consultants, we're professionals, we're doing this for years. We don't do an assessment based on good energy or bad energy. It's just about the flow of energy. And if it's abundance or there's lack of energy.
Correct.
So if you look on the Google satellite, if you look to the different cities, they will, the most development in cities, you look for the major ones, New York, California, you go Europe, you will see that there's always, the big development is always between the mountains and a body of water. It can be either a river or a lake or the ocean, but there's always in this flat area between both, between the yin yang, it's where life is more, it's more nourished by the chi. So just bringing you that, so creating a little bit of.
Okay. So maybe today we should just stick to yin yang. I think if we talk too much about 5 elements, it'll get kind of confusing. Let me see. Okay, back to our picture. Okay. I think I have some more images maybe we can look at. I don't know how relevant they are. Let me just check. Okay.
If we compare a square versus a circle, then the circle is yang because it's more dynamic. The square is more static, has more yin quality energy.
Okay, so I have an image for you. There you go. This is a bedroom. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It looks more comfortable than my bedroom.
Yeah. Well, a bedroom is what we call a yin room.
Yeah, this is quite yang.
Why do you say it's quite yang?
Well, I think it's because it has so much lighting. It's a good bedroom. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad bedroom. But in first instance, as you mentioned, bedroom must be yin. When you go to your bedroom, you go to sleep. As you see, the yin is dark, the dark side. Not the dark side like Star Wars, but the one in the bottom. So you usually go to sleep, to rest, to recharge your energy.
Correct.
So a bedroom, you know, it's a yin aspect. You go to sleep. A living room or a kitchen is yang. It's very dynamic. You're always doing something. So you see that this living room, very dynamic. You see there's the shelf, the chairs, you bring people in, coffee table. But in the bedroom, where you're looking for more yin, chi, then you don't need that much lighting. In this case, well, this is for probably a presentation, and they wanted to make it look bright. It's a very good bedroom in general. I like it, but I think from if this was a bedroom like that, every day, that lit up is too much, too yang, too much lighting. The lamps too wide. You have the window already. It looks like you have nice natural lighting from that window. Um, but in general, it's a good bedroom. You know, it's not like had red walls and disco ball. Like you know, teenagers they put like disco lightings and neons and lots of posters. But kids, teenagers are more dynamic. You know,
Yeah.
so but in general, when you want a place to rest, look for the hotel feeling. Look like when you go to your room, it must feel like you're going to the hotel. What happens when you go to the hotel room? You just want to like lay on the bed and take this sleep for 12 hours. So that's the
Well, I think in this room we can make it better if you, as you say, lighting is an issue. You put in blackout curtains, make it dark, you know.
But in general, it's good. It's just
Yeah, it's
at first
the colors
instant.
are very pastel, which makes
Mhm.
it soothing and very calming. You want to calm, so in a yin room, in a bedroom, you want yin features. So really, you really want yang, as he said, dark, quiet. Sound-wise, you want less noise. Temperature, you want it a little bit cool because you can sleep better. So all those are what we call yin features. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
As opposed to, we have yang, meaning more activity because it's a place where a lot of people come and communicate, share the space. So we have a
If
lot
this
going
was
on.
Yeah, if this was a bedroom to sleep, it's a little bit overwhelming. You know, when you want your bedroom, you want to disconnect and just be relaxed. And this has too many objects. Remember, form defines energy. So there's many forms in here. It's very dynamic. Big windows. The frame has a lot of colors. So this is a good living room
Yes.
because you feel, it brings things alive. It has nice colors, but for
Yes.
a
Has a
bedroom,
lot of movement.
yeah, yeah, I like it. But
Yeah, I
for
like it too.
a bedroom, it will not be ideal. Um, you will not have that tranquility that you want in a bedroom.
Correct. It doesn't make you feel calm so you can rest. It's more of an active room, so you want to do things. And that's the purpose of that living room. So it is successful in its design. But what about this one then?
This one feels nice. The other one feels like you are more like you invite more people
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
are more dynamic. This one
dynamic.
feels, yeah, this one feels like for people that are maybe over 40 years old and it's more relaxed. You don't use it that much.
Yeah, yeah. Different
But,
different character. Yeah.
mhm,
So the
but
other
it's
one is,
not,
even if they're both living rooms, one is more yang and one is more yin. So yeah,
yes. See, you see that? That's a good point. This one is a yin, a living room, and the other one is a yang living room. Those are
correct.
living rooms. Neither of them is bad or good, but it has that yang chi, that yang energy, and this one is the energy is more subtle, more
Yeah,
relaxed.
yeah, much more relaxed. So that's how we see yin and yang in a living space. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that's, what do you think? Should we call it a wrap for today? I
yeah,
think if we do the 5 elements, might be a little bit too much
yeah,
information.
yeah. It's a lot of information. Even we're just touching the yin yang on the surface, and we
Yeah.
can keep talking about yin yang for a full day nonstop. It's a lot of information. And the Wu-Xing has much more because Yin-Yang is 2, Wu-Xing is 5.
Yeah.
So,
I think we
but
did good for today.
yeah. But guys, now that you have a better idea, when you see things, look what's the yin aspect of this or yang aspect, and you know, try to be uh uh judgy, not judgy, but like try to have more
Awareness.
awareness. Yeah, because that will help you. Like for example, if you want to do workout, look for a bedroom in your house. If you have a house with many bedrooms and you want to choose one bedroom to work out, then you look for that one that has more lighting or is closer to the entrance. And then the bedroom that is more yin, the one that has less windows and it's farther away from the entrance, then it's better for sleep. So, you know, that's why we're bringing this, because we're gonna be talking about yin yang from here all the way for the rest of our life. We're gonna be talking about yin yang. So we wanted to have a little bit of information out there, so you know, to you have better understanding. But whatever question, just comment over there. We're gonna be looking after those and answer it. Maybe we can do a video of all the questions of all the people that have questions about yin yang. But
Sounds
you know,
good. Sounds good.
sounds good. Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Jane.
Thanks, Justin. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.
Weekend.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. We'll hope to